This teenager sat in the courtroom chuckling, grinning, and smiling annoyingly as though he just won a golden medal, while the heartbroken mother of his murdered victim cried her soul out over the loss of her only son. But when the judge had enough, his taunting smirks that haunted the victim's family vanished under the weight of justice. This is a disturbing story of a 17-year-old teenage killer whose arrogance turned the courtroom into chaos. Welcome to Wrenching Crimes. If you are new here, we share real-life crime stories that deserve to be heard. Stories that give voice to victims who can no longer speak for themselves. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. In Ann Arbor, Michigan, on October 4th, 2016, an unforeseen tragedy hit the community. 18-year-old Jordan Klee, a high school student with college dreams and an athlete who loves playing football, never made it home. What should have been an ordinary day ended in tragedy when a teenage robbery turned deadly, ending with 17-year-old Danta Wright taking Jordan Klee's life. Wright was just 16 years old when his name first made headlines, not for an achievement, but for a crime so brutal that it would shock the entire community. Wright is a troubled teen who fell into a world of violence and bad choices at a young age. Instead of focusing on school and his future, he surrounded himself with the wrong crowd. His body carried the marks of gang loyalty, tattoos of 6-point stars and pitchforks, symbols prosecutors often tied to the gangster disciples. These weren't the drawings of a kid playing tough. They were permanent signs of the life he had chosen. Weeks before the night that would change everything, Wright had already clashed with the law. In September of 2016, he was arrested for fleeing from police and later released on bond. But instead of that arrest serving as a wake-up call, it seemed to drive him further into the streets. And on October 4, 2016, he made a decision that would define the rest of his life. Wright and two friends, Jermarius Ellison and Delreno Gracie, lured Jordan Klee into a wooded area near Pine Lake Village Cooperative, Adrian Drive in Ann Arbor. Their plan was simple and brutal. Rob him and make sure he never walked away. They robbed Klee without resistance. After robbing Klee, Wright shot him in the back of his head, leaving him dead. His body was later found by a maintenance worker who heard the gunshots, and the police were alerted. It didn't take long for police to trace the teens, and within 4 days, which was on October 10th, Wright was arrested. All thanks to Lee's phone recording and witness tips, which helped the police track Wright and his friends down. Wright didn't deny killing Jordan. In fact, he admitted to shooting it like it was nothing, calm, cold, and even bragging and rapping about his gang lifestyle as if he found it all amusing. Detectives couldn't believe how casual he was about it. This wasn't random violence. It was a calculated act. It was obvious that he was a kid chasing notoriety and didn't give a damn about other people's feelings. Here, Wright admits in his own words how he shot Jordan Klee. No evasion, no remorse.
And who are you going to rob?
Jordan Klee.
And as a result of that armed robbery, what did you do with that gun and Mr. Jordan Klee?
Shot him.
And where did you shoot him?
On the top of his head.
And did you kill him with that shot?
Yes.
Fast forward to 2017. Wright appeared in court, facing charges of second-degree murder, armed robbery, felony firearm, and conspiracy to commit armed robbery. He eventually pleaded guilty. But what happened inside that courtroom made national headlines. As Jordan's grieving family gave their victim impact statements, his mother, Karen Klee, broke down in tears, while Wright smirked and chuckled.
Your Honor, my name is Courtney Clay, and I'm Karen's cousin. She's asked me to read this on her behalf.
Sure.
Jordan Michael Klee born July 26, 1998. Murdered October 4th, 2016, at 18 years old. Jordan has no future. Jordan can no longer choose to go to college. Jordan can no longer choose to change. Jordan can no longer make a difference. Jordan can no longer fall in love or have a family. Jordan no longer has a future. I've lost my only child, my son, my baby, my friend. More than that, I've lost laughter and love. I no longer have the hope of having grandchildren. I've lost the enjoyment of holidays and birthdays and of everyday life. As a mother or any parent ages, her children are there to care for her. But now in my life, I walk this journey alone. I no longer have that luxury because that was carelessly and cruelly taken from me. I no longer get to see the smile of my son when he walks through the door and brings me a Frosty from Wendy's at the end of his shift. The simple pride of a hard work shift and bringing his mom something that just makes her happy. Songs we used to enjoy, I can no longer listen to. Movie nights we did together no longer exist. I could continue with all the loss. I won't. This year was supposed to be a year of celebration, of senior pictures with prom and graduation and parties. Instead, it was a nightmare that no parent should ever endure. On the nights I managed to sleep, I wake up hearing my son scream for me, to then have to realize all over again, night after night, my son is dead, gone, taken. For what? Why? Can you answer the question? Why? Why? I have an answer. Your answer will never be good enough. There will never be an answer good enough to satisfy why you shot my son. Why you thought that what you had should be yours. Why you felt that what you wanted, you were entitled to. Why you thought his death was an acceptable response to your jealousy or desire to what he had. Drugs, clothes, money, jewelry, phones, shoes, whatever it was that you felt you needed more than his life. Your why will never be better than his life. Your want will never trump my son's death. You get to live, get to wake up every day. Your life continues. I sincerely hope that whatever it was you wanted so badly that you felt the need to murder my son was worth the next at least 52 years in your continued existence. You won't get the luxury of raising your child because you took mine away. Your actions have led you to a prison cell, but have also created an empty cell that I live in every day. While you can still hope to be released one day, I'll never escape my hell. You are still alive, but Jordan has no future. Thank you, Your Honor. We're done.
But instead of showing remorse, Wright taunted Jordan's family and mocked their pain.
My client wants to address the court, but I
would. Of course. Yes, sir. Mr. Wright, what would you like to say?
I just want to tell y'all I'll be home soon. R.I.P. Keon. I love my family.
The entire courtroom was stunned. Even Judge David Swartz, known for his composure, froze in disbelief and anger. Judges are trained to stay calm, but Wright's smirking arrogance pushed him to the edge. So much so, he nearly rejected the plea deal right there in court. In that moment, the judge had had enough. His patience snapped, and the room felt the full weight of his fury.
That's all you got to say. You know, I have never in 23 years approximately ever not accepted a sentence agreement between the parties because it's bargained for, sentenced by the parties. But watching you sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial, and if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do. Mr. Bella, do you want me to accept this sentence agreement?
Your Honor, may we approach briefly?
Yes.
The judge ordered a recess, and when the court resumed, Wright's own attorney stood up to apologize, insisting his client's behavior wasn't meant as disrespect but immaturity.
Your Honor, my client asked me to apologize to the court. His smiling was in no way meant as disrespectful either to the family, to the victim or to this court. My client is 17 years old. He has some emotional problems and frankly was scared. And some people display fear by smiling. He really meant no disrespect. He does take this very seriously. And what I started to tell the court before my client interrupted me, was that he did admit to the probation officer during the interview that he was involved, that he did cause the death of the young man. It was never intentional. He never intended to hurt anybody. And I think he does feel bad about it. Now, at his age and in his condition, he may not be able to express it as well as some other defendants might, but he does feel bad about it.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Wright?
No.
All right.
But then, Klee's family attorney stood up and spoke on their behalf. He revealed that they did not want the case to go to trial.
Shoot him in the back of the head. He's shown absolutely no remorse. He's written rap songs to other murderers about continuing killing, and throughout the victim impact statements today, he smiled and he laughed throughout the entire proceeding. However, the Klee family does want to move on with this. They want to get some closure from this case. And they want to try and forgive this defendant and all of his actions for what he did. And they are asking, as well as the people, that he proceed with the sentence. Okay.
For Jordan's grieving family, the thought of reliving every gruesome detail in a full trial was simply unbearable. Accepting the plea wasn't about forgiveness. It was about protecting themselves from even more pain. And with that, the judge honored their wishes. On July 24th, 2017, Danta Wright was sentenced to 23 to 50 years in prison for the second-degree murder of 18-year-old Jordan Klee. Additionally, he received a 2-year sentence for a felony firearm charge, bringing his total minimum sentence to 25 years. According to the Michigan Department of Corrections, Wright's earliest release date is September 28, 2042, meaning he won't be eligible for parole until then. As the gavel fell, Wright's smirk finally vanished. Wright's demeanor shifted. He became quiet, subdued, and visibly weighed down by the reality of decades behind bars. The defiant scene before sentencing was replaced with the sobering understanding of the consequences he now faced. As the courtroom emptied, Wright's mother, Antoinette Carter, stepped outside to face the cameras. Her words and demeanor stirred mixed emotions among onlookers.
What do you think about his reaction during the statements that were made in the court that the judge seemed to be
upset about?
Yeah, tell me what you think.
What upset me was I'm sorry for her loss, just as well as mine. My son was supposed to graduate this year too, and I mean it's just bad all the way around. So that's just how I feel.
Do you think he took this lightly? Do you think he took this seriously? How do you think he...
I don't feel like he understands exactly what's going on because of his mental conditions and things like that, and no one has even brought that up or said anything about it. So
can you expand on what those conditions are that you don't feel like we're taking into account?
His mental conditions, I'm gonna put like that. The court systems in juvenile, and I had tests done to see if he was a threat to society, which he's not. He sees another psychiatrist here in Ann Arbor, and she also let the attorneys know his diagnosis, what medications he's supposed to be on that he's have not had since he's been locked up. So, I mean, it's another reason why. The smiling does not have nothing to do with slack of what, how can I say it?
That's just how he handles everything.
That's how he handles everything. As a child, if he was in trouble,
he'll just look at you and smile.
He's gonna smile at you.
Knowing he's in trouble.
Her comments, appearing to downplay the victim's suffering while rationalizing Wright's conduct, shocked everyone watching, leaving a sense of unease and disbelief. Wright's co-defendants, Delrino Gracie and Jermarius Ellison, were also convicted for their roles in the crime. They each pleaded guilty to charges related to the murder and were sentenced to 15 to 30 years in prison. Their sentences were finalized in September 2017. Justice has finally been served. Yeah, but for Jordan's family, there was no joy in the sentence. Only the faint comfort that his killer would not walk free anytime soon. The murder of Jordan Klee left a permanent scar on his family. His widowed mom, who gave birth to Jordan a few weeks after his daddy Sean Romeo Bristol passed away, was forced to confront a loss no mother should ever endure, the sudden, violent death of her only child. Jordan's tragic death left his mother to navigate life without her only child. What could be more painful? I guess nothing. The courtroom, where Karen Klee faced Danta Wright, her son's murderer, became a place of raw grief. Victim impact statements were read. Tears flowed freely, and every detail of the crime weighed heavily on Jordan's family. The pain was compounded by Wright's courtroom demeanor, smiling and laughing during their testimony, a cruel contrast to the anguish they were experiencing. In that courtroom, as justice was read aloud, the weight of what was taken, the life, the future, the love and bond, crushed everyone who knew him, most especially his mother. Justice in the form of decades-long imprisonment could not bring Jordan back or erase the trauma. Their lives were forever altered, a stark reminder of how one senseless act can ripple through everyone connected to the victim. A bright light was extinguished far too soon, leaving grief that will echo forever. How do we reconcile the justice served with the life that was lost? How do families cope when a life is stolen and the pain never fully fades? What does justice truly mean for victims, their families, and communities? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and then turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode.